Sports presents live from Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee, Florida. It's the Pitt Panthers versus the Florida State Seminoles. This game is being brought to you by Budweiser Lights with a clean, distinctive taste worthy of the king of beers. And by Subaru. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way. And by Daily Juice Products to remind you there's a daily treat for everyone. And by Westinghouse and the 140,000 Westinghouse employees worldwide. Hello, everybody. I'm Bill Hillgrove along with Myron Cope. A battle of unbeatens tonight. Each team is 1-0. Pitt had a struggle against North Carolina, and certainly the Florida State Seminoles had to struggle against Cincinnati. Myron, it should be a big game for both clubs.
Oh, yes, indeed. Many people are saying that Florida State will just have a so-so season, but a win over Pitt would be a big one that perhaps might catapult them toward a very nice season. The Pitt Panthers, they're #1 in the UPI poll, #2 in the AP, so they're in that pressure chamber battling for that national championship.
It's Fazio versus Bowden. We can't tell you it's going to be high scoring or low scoring. We can tell you this, it will be exciting. We'll be back with the opening kickoff of tonight's game right after this. Hello, everybody, from Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee, Florida. Bowden, in his 7th year as Florida State coach, has achieved remarkable success in Tallahassee. His teams have gone to back-to-back Orange Bowls. Last year, a down year. He was 6-5, and after a couple of surprising road wins, one at Notre Dame, he came into Pitt Stadium and ran into a hornet's nest. Around the field. First-year coach Foge Fazio leads the Panthers onto the field. The Panthers came out and warmed up in this heat and humidity, and I imagine the temperature, Myron, is over 80 degrees. The humidity factor presents a problem for the visiting team, but I noticed that Foge Fazio had the Panthers warming up in just their T-shirts and didn't seem to have them on the field that very long pre-game. The captains for the two teams are out in the middle of the field right now with the officials for tonight's ball game. For Pitt, the captains, offensively, Julius Dawkins, Ron Sams, and John Brown. Defensively, Pete Short, Dave Pizzoli, and Yogi Jones. Florida State has won the toss and will receive. The Panthers have chosen their goal, and it appears that the Panthers will be defending the goal to our right as we view it from high atop the stadium press box at Doak Campbell Stadium. The officials for tonight's ball game, 3 from the Southern Independents and 3 from the Major Independents. The referee is Tommy Miller. The linesman, Jim Mahan. The field judge, Jim Campbell, all from the Southern Independents group of officials. There you see the mascot, David Williams, aboard the horse Renegade. The flaming spear goes into the 50-yard line, and Doak Campbell Stadium turns into a veritable madhouse. The officials representing the Major Independents, the line judge, Earl Birdie Jr., the back judge, Weldon Waits, and the clock operator, Bob Albertson. The umpire, Donald McDonald, is also from the Major Independents. And there you see the garnet and gold balloons being released into this Tallahassee sky. It is, again, Myron, one of the most interesting visiting places in all of college football.
Yes, indeed it is, Bill, but students of psychology might want to ponder Foge Fazio's decision to warm up his players in T-shirts. In other words, do you want to have that southern heat on their minds? Maybe it's not such a good move bringing them out in T-shirts. Why make them more conscious of the heat? But that's something for the psychologists.
I know one thing, the Panthers are a well-conditioned ball club. I think they borrowed the Steeler gassers from Chuck Noll and the Steelers and John Kolb, and they have adopted that program, and I think it has helped to condition this football team. It certainly was a plus for them to be able to play 12 defensive men against North Carolina and get away with it. I don't think they could do it tonight, particularly for 75 snaps.
No, more likely Foge Fazio will substitute fairly liberally in that defense. And by the way, the PA announcer here tonight referred to him as Foge Fazio. Isn't that precious?
That's called respect. Across the field, the Panther kick team is poised. Waiting deep is Ricky Williams at the Florida State goal line. Eric Schubert gets the kick away, and it'll be down by Greg Allen in the end zone. So the Seminoles start 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. The quarterback is Blair Williams, number 14. There you see Greg Allen. He'll be in the backfield tonight, alternating with number 44, Ricky Williams, as the tailback. The fullback is Ken Burnett. The flanker, Jesse Hester. Speed to burn. Tony Johnson, the split end. Matter of fact, the Seminoles have, Myron, at least a dozen guys who can run a 4-4 or better. They have blazing team speed.
Well, that's your Florida athlete. There are a lot of Swifties in this state to be recruited.
They'd like to get some big linemen and recruit them to Tallahassee, but right now they've got a lot of speed. There's Williams with a play-action fake, and he wants it all right away. The lone man downfield is Jesse Hester. Incomplete at the 30-yard line beyond the diving Jesse Hester. The coverage on the play by Troy Hill, the Panther cornerback from South River, New Jersey.
Well, Hester got behind Troy Hill, and the ball just led him a little bit too much. Hester is a big player. He's a break-the-game player, and so they like to go to him, and they're taking the bull by the horns here and trying it right on the first play from scrimmage.
Center Tom McCormick out over the football for the Seminoles, and now Dennis McKinnon comes in to replace Hester as a wide receiver on 2nd and 10 from the Florida State 20. Get the Panther defense. Williams another play-action fake. And this pass almost intercepted by Troy Hill. The intended receiver, Dennis McKinnon, the flanker just into the ball game, slipped and fell down. It's 3rd and 10.
Troy Hill suffered a bruised chest in last week's win over North Carolina, and it didn't seem to respond in practice the past week, but there he is in the ball game, and for his sake, hopefully he won't have any trouble with that bruised chest. He nearly picked off a big one.
Panther front wall, Pelusi, Moss, Wenglikowski, Pozzoli, and Woods. Now we see that Chris Dolman has replaced Al Wenglikowski at end. On 3rd and 10, Williams of Florida State downfield. Hester has it. First down at the 38-yard line. Jesse Hester tackled immediately by Tommy Flynn. Florida State picks up 18 yards and a Seminole first down.
So what do we have here? It's Hill versus Hester, or Hester versus Hill. Going to go right up the middle, Will Williams.
Just as some
All
pressure
three
got there.
plays have been Hill versus Hester. One could have been a long bomb and a touchdown, a big 6. The other could have been an interception and a big 6, and now this third one.
18-yard gain. Williams to Hester. 1st and 10, Florida State from its own 38. Sweeping left side with a football, fullback Ken Burnett. That time, very interestingly enough, Williams did not fake off the play action. He gave it to Burnett, but Burnett is tackled immediately by Michael Woods, who runs that sideline as well as any defensive end in the game. He'll run both sidelines. He's got 4 or 6, and that's running back speed. 1-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Florida State at its own 39-yard line. The split ends are alternating. Hester and McKinnon. Now Hester back in there. They are alternating, presumably, to bring plays in to quarterback Blair Williams. Slot right. Split backs behind Blair Williams, number 14. The senior from Tallahassee. Another play-action fake, and this pass is batted down by Rick Cranack, the Panther linebacker. It'll set up a 3rd down and 9. Tony Johnson, the split end, had gotten open for a second, but shutting down the passing lane was a leaping Rick Cranack.
Is Bobby Bowden giving you the idea that he thinks he has to throw the ball tonight to beat the Pitt Panthers?
13:41 left of the first quarter. This is the opening drive of the ball game, and now Florida State, after having converted on 3rd and 10 from their 20 for an 18-yard gain, facing a 3rd and 9 from its own 39-yard line. Williams straight back this time. Pressure, and he evades it, and he's going to pick up some yardage. Turns at the 45, and he's out of bounds near midfield. He's got a first down for Florida State. Blair Williams, good evading of the pressure by the Panther front wall, getting in there to almost put the wrap on him with Bill Moss and J.C. Pelusi, but somehow he came out of there, so we'll take a look at it and see just how he does against this Panther pressure up front.
Michael Woods breaking through there eventually to put the heat on Williams, well, he slipped out of there, so the 48-yard line. First down. Oh, excuse me.
They haven't moved the sticks as yet, so they're going to have to measure, and it looks like it might be just inches short, but they're going to take a closer look at it. So let's see what the measurement produces. Looks like the nose of the football is a couple inches away. Referee from the Southern Independence, Tommy Miller, coming out to measure.
So you'd get an interesting decision here, Bill, if it's 4th down. You want to jump on Pitt by going for it or play the conservative game? It is 4th down, inches to go.
Let's see what Bobby Bowden decides. On believe he's going to just let everybody in there and get that couple of inches.
He's liable to regret that. I'm an old conservative. I punt every time.
You hear the crowd reacting. They want the try for first down. And apparently they're going to get one here. High formation for Williams. The pitch. And with the football, Greg Allen. And it appears that he did get to midfield, and Allen gets the first down. Good second effort. Greg Allen was listed as 5'11", 200, but he appears to be upwards of 200, like 210.
Well, Bobby Bowden has got to draw a heavy sigh because that play came very near to being stopped. Tommy Flynn, the safety man, penetrating, but he could not make the stop.
Finally, Dolman did, but not before the first down comes at the 50-yard line. First and 10, Florida State. No score yet. Play action fake, and he wants it all again. Williams with a man open. Pass intercepted. With that football downfield is the Panthers' Timmy Lewis. The 6-foot, 195 senior cornerback from Percy, Pennsylvania. Jesse Hester, the intended receiver, had broken open, but the pass was underthrown, and Lewis, the Panthers' Timmy Lewis, picks it off. Pitt now deep in a hole, but they have the football first and 10 at their own 6-yard line. First interception of the year for Tim Lewis, the youngster from Percy, Pennsylvania. The Panther offense looks like this. Jim Sweeney is the center. The guards are Fada and Sams. Covert and Fralick are the tackles. The tight end Brown, the split end Dawkins, the flanker Collins. Marino is the quarterback, and behind him, Marlon McIntyre, a sophomore, at fullback, and halfback Brian Thomas, the senior. Single setback for the Panthers. Got a man in the slot right away and have a fumble right away. And a big pile up in a scramble for possession of the football. And it appears as though on the center exchange between Jim Sweeney and Dan Marino that Marino was barely able to get onto the football. It'll be second and 10.
Blair Williams on that Florida State drive threw the ball 5 times, but he connected only once and threw an interception. Not a very good start. Danny Marino falling on that snap. So the Panthers remain at their 6-yard line, second down. This ball game scoreless.
Second down and 10. The crowd is a factor right now. Dan Marino looks at referee Tommy Miller and says, I can't hear. Something he failed to do as a sophomore 2 years ago. Marino did not attempt to quiet the crowd down by getting play to stop, and it's something that experience certainly has told him to do.
And of course, last year college football adopted a rule that can stop that crowd from creating bedlam. They can threaten to charge the home team with a timeout if the crowd doesn't shut up.
Now Marino goes to the I formation. Second down and 10 from his own 6. Collins is a flanker right. Marino tells referee Tommy Miller, I can't hear. And again, Miller signals for a timeout and then talks to Marino about the situation. And probably what he's saying is, Myron, we can't do this all night.
Now, of course, Pitt is hoping that the real Danny Marino has come out of the closet, because that could not have been Danny Marino performing against the North Carolina Tar Heels a week ago Thursday when he threw 4 interceptions, had all sorts of difficulty recognizing defenses.
Now the public address announcer telling the crowd that the game cannot proceed without a little more quiet. Second down and 10. Pitt from its own 6. Flanker right is Collins, split end left is Dawkins. The deep give is tailback Brian Thomas. Brian Williams, defensive end from Winter Haven, Florida, for the Florida State Seminoles, making the tackle on Brian Thomas as he tried to slant off that right side. He got out to the 8-yard line for 2. It'll be third down and 8 now. The Panthers at their own 8-yard line. No score, 11:37 on a first quarter turning clock.
And I would suppose Danny Marino felt the crowd noise had something to do with that fumbled snap on first down. But here go the Panthers on third down.
Marino sets him up the same way as the previous down. I flanker right. Marino on third and 8 from his goal line. And it's too tall for John Brown, the intended receiver at the 25-yard line. Linebacker Tommy Young, 6 feet tall, 210, a senior from Lake City, provided the coverage, and the Panthers will have to punt from their own end zone. Florida State is a team that likes to use its special teams aggressively, and there's no doubt that they may come after Greg Ganser. Cedric Jones is the lone safety. Ganser gets it away, and it's a beauty. A bullet that Jones awaits for at his 40-yard line. Needs the wall. Evades one tackler, gets the wall. He's at the 45, in Pitt territory at the 40-yard line. Cedric Jones with a fine punt return. Just beautiful how Florida State set up that picket line, that wall, and then when Jones found it, he rambled forward. Punt return of almost 30 yards. And now Florida State, excellent field position. 1st and 10 at the Pitt 36-yard line.
Well, he got a big block from Brian Williams, yet another Williams on the Florida State roster. There's Ricky, there's Blair, now there's Brian.
24-yard punt return unofficially for Cedric Jones, and Florida State in business at the Pitt 36, 1st and 10. The pass batted down by Alan Wenglakowski. Williams trying to find his tight end, Zeke Mowat, and Wenglakowski, the 6'1", 217-pound junior from Franklin, Ohio, number 6, made the play for Pitt. That's the second pass batted down by the Panther defense.
How does a defensive end, Al Wenglakowski, come to be wearing number 6, Bill?
That's a good question, Myron, and it's one that I can't fathom. I know you can't wear it on a college basketball court. 2nd and 10. From the Pitt 36 and on the draw play, it is Ricky Williams with a good gainer, a first down into the Pitt 28-yard line and more to the 27. And it parted like the Red Sea on the draw play right up the middle, and finally in pursuit, Rich Cranack, the Panther linebacker, making the tackle.
Well, it's a play Pitt knew was in the Florida State repertoire. Florida State likes that draw play. They like to keep you off balance with the draw and with the sprint draw.
Florida State now going with 2 tight ends after the 12-yard gain by Ricky Williams. 27-yard line. Look at a 9-yard gain. And now Blair Williams, the senior, wants it. Downfield, he gets it. Jumping for the pass is Jesse Hester, who's getting open in that Panther secondary. This is a first down to the Pitt 18-yard line. Quarterback Tim Lewis got there for the tackle.
Just a rollout, tossed the sideline route, and Hester, he's open, and he is Williams' man tonight. That's obvious.
Spot the football at the 17-yard line where Florida State has a first down. Jesse Hester, an athlete that was also recruited by the University of Pittsburgh. Short drop this time by Williams. Hester holds on. Jesse Hester with an amazing catch because he took a broadside hit from free safety Tommy Flynn. Hester gets up slowly, but what a grab for Jesse Hester.
Well, Tommy Flynn will knock the stuffing out of him, so you've got to hand it to Hester when he holds on to a football that he catches with a reaching catch and takes that hit amidships. That's good football.
No score, 9:45 left of the first quarter. Jesse Hester getting a sideline word with a member of the coaching staff for Florida State University. Came off a 6-5 season last year. That's a disappointing season, particularly since Bobby Bowden had gotten things in gear here at Tallahassee. A very successful coach with 50 wins in his first 6 years on the job. Foge Fazio, the Panther coach, on the other sideline in his first year. Florida State now. The measurement is short, so it's 2nd and 1 at the Pitt 7-yard line. Williams with the draw play, the fullback Burnett. And he gets down inside the 5. He gets the first down and more. Finally tackled by Pete Short, the Panthers' strong safety, and Tom Flynn, the free safety for the Panthers.
So Florida State comes with the draw play over the other side. This ball game is scoreless well into the first period, but the Florida State Seminoles are driving after a good punt return that gave them fine field position. They're at the 3-yard line.
New receiver in the ball game is number 6, Hassan Jones. He's a flanker left. Split backs behind Williams. And the corner pass, and Hassan Jones cannot get up high enough to pull it in. Dennis McKinnon on the far side. That is not Hassan Jones. He was lined up on the right side. Dennis McKinnon on the far side. Had coverage there from Tim Lewis, but the pass was too tall. The corner pass, the floater pass, it didn't work. It'll be 3rd down now. I think that's 2nd down because they had gotten the first down inside the 5 at the 3-yard line. 2nd and goal from the 3. Greg Allen with one block and into the end zone for the Florida State touchdown. Greg Allen with a dip and a do, cutting very instinctively picking up the blocking, using the blocking, and he got in from 3 yards, and Florida State is on the board.
Broke a tackle by Yogi Jones, the Pitt linebacker. Allen is a former Air Force man, an Air Force vet. There he goes over that left side, running hard. And he's a guy Bobby Bowden found while touring Europe. Look at it from another angle. Good hard running by Greg Allen.
The extra point by Philip Hall, the sidewinder from Tallahassee, a sophomore, is good. It's 7-0. Florida State leads with 8:58 left in the first quarter. We'll be right back after this.
On your MTV. I want my MTV.
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV.
Philip Hall kicked the extra point, but here comes Mike Rendina with a kickoff for Florida State, who leads it 7-0 after 3-yard touchdown run by Greg Allen. Panthers have problems in the end zone with that rolling football. Timmy Lewis let it go between his legs, but fortunately for the Panthers, it's over the end line, and the touchback will give Pitt a 1st and 10 at its own 20-yard line. Florida State had a drive going early and got to midfield, but then Blair Williams was intercepted by Tim Lewis, and the Panthers had the ball at their own 6, but could not move the ball. Punted on 4th down, got a good 52-yard effort from punter Greg Ganser, but a great return of 24 yards by Cedric Allen of Florida State. Set up their touchdown drive, 7 plays, it covered 36 yards. Pitt with a 1st and 10 now at its own 20. Marino, the quarterback, with a flanker right in Dwight Collins. Short pocket pass, Collins wide open, drops the ball, it's 2nd down. He heard the footsteps from cornerback Harvey Clayton coming up from the left side. The Panthers are making the kind of early mistakes that they wanted to avoid.
Well, they are ranked #1 in the country by the UPI, but so far their offense has had nothing but trouble. First in the North Carolina game, and then starting in the hole against Florida State here in Tallahassee.
On 2nd and 10, Marino with an eye formation. Split end left is Dawkins. The tailback, Brian Thomas. Not much room. Florida State's defense has it pretty well figured out, and Brian Williams makes the tackle for the Seminoles. 3rd down and 10. Florida State defensively has Dave Ponder, the middle guard. Alfonso Carricker is the right defensive tackle. Brad Fojic is the left defensive tackle. Brian Williams at one end. The other end, Allendale Campbell, is out of the ball game now. They've got a linebacker playing out there. That's Kim Mack coming in to play defensive end. Rowe and Young are the linebackers for Florida State. Pitt with a 3rd and 10 and its own 20. Marino with a deep drop this time. Surveys the field. The pass caught by Dawkins, and then they say no, he didn't hold it long enough. It's incomplete. A great hit by Brian McCrary, the safety, the free safety for Florida State. Knocked the ball loose, incomplete, and the Panthers have to punt again.
Florida State loading up the secondary, rushing only 2 men. Yet the receiver was free, but what a hit. Ouch, he can't hold on. Good hit by McCreary.
Talk about good hits. A great punt by Greg Ganser. Has Cedric Jones giving ground again. No wall this time, and he goes down at his own 25-yard line under a swarm of white-shirted Panther tacklers. Spearheaded that time downfield under that punt by a very aggressive kick coverage unit. And I'm talking about Mark Roller, the linebacker, the walk-on from Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania. And also Art Lowry, the junior college transfer from Scottsdale Community College in Arizona. He's a native of Navasota, Texas. Lowry making the tackle. Line of scrimmage is called the 26 now, so Florida State leading 7-0 as a 1st and 10 from their own 26. Williams the quarterback, Greg Allen the tailback, Burnett is the fullback. And this time Ricky Williams gets through for yardage with a deep left and a deep right, and downfield he goes for a 1st down out to the 40-yard line. Riding him on his back, Pete Short just couldn't pull him down, and finally a 14-yard gain for the Seminoles of Florida State, and Ricky Williams, the tailback, gets the 1st down.
Well, Ricky Williams is only 170 pounds or so, but Bobby Bowden, his coach, says he is one tough baby and perhaps the best blocker among the tailbacks, although he doesn't have to do much blocking as a tailback.
Ricky Williams, a good day last week. Both tailbacks had over 90 yards. The win against Cincinnati for Florida State. rolling off play action. The pass is complete to Zeke Mowat, the tight end, near the 50-yard line. He's out of bounds at his own 48. Florida State coming up with some big plays in the early going. It's very easily explained why they have a 7-0 lead midway through the first quarter.
Blair Williams drilling it in there to Mowat. Williams now 4 for 10 for a total of 40 yards throwing the football.
2nd down and 2 now. Florida State at its own 48-yard line. Greg Allen breaks one tackle and gets the first down into Pitt territory at the 46-yard line. Greg Allen, as we said before, is listed at 200 pounds, but you look at him and you know he's a solid 210 at least. Strong youngster.
Well, number 56, Chris Dolman, Pitt's drop end, horse-collared Greg Allen. But the ball is out at the 48-yard line as Florida State continues to move it.
Florida first for the Florida State, 1st and 10 at the Panther. We'll call it the 46-yard line. Blair Williams after the play action fake, and the man was open, but he threw the pass too tall. Hassan Jones, the freshman wide receiver from Clearwater, Florida, had gotten open in Pitt territory near the first down marker, but the pass was incomplete. Strong safety Dan Short was in the vicinity, but the pass was simply too tall. Williams misfires. It's 2nd down and 10.
But it's easy to see that Bobby Bowden really has this Florida State team up tonight. Bowden, he's a very likable gent with a good sense of humor, but he can give them the old fiery talk.
They played the theme from Rocky III, the Eye of the Tiger, all week long in the dressing room. Draw play. And with the football is Ken Burnett, the fullback, and he picks his way and still on his feet. He gets the first down into the Pitt 35-yard line. The Panthers are not tackling well tonight. That's pretty obvious in the first quarter.
Yes, indeed. And those draw plays have made the Pitt Panthers tentative. They've accomplished their purpose.
Tommy Flynn had a shot. Michael Woods slipped off. Down he goes finally. Pete Short got there.
Take a look at it from yet another angle.
Burnett getting down to the Panther 35-yard line. So that was a pickup of 11 yards. 1st and 10. Florida State leading by 7 and looking for more. Fake the draw play this time, and the pass misfires incomplete. J.C. Pelusi got right up in Blair Williams' face. The intended receiver, Jesse Hester, had no chance at all. Good pressure from the Panthers' J.C. Pelusi, the middle guard from Youngstown Cheney. He's 6'1", 251 pounds, number 52.
Williams now 4 for 12, not a very good percentage, batting .333. Last year he got into the Pitt game. He was not the starting quarterback, but he completed 12 out of 19 against the Panthers. Had a good day, 158 yards.
And last week against Cincinnati, Williams was 16 for 21. This time he gives the ball. Billy Allen, a tailback, can't get outside the Panther pursuit, and he'll take a loss on the play. Line of scrimmage originally was the 35. Rick Cranack made the stop for Pitt, number 55, the Panther linebacker on that side. Panthers strung it out very well. Loss of 3 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 13 at the 38-yard line. Florida State leading. It'll be 3rd down because there was an incompleted pass. Thank you very much. Our spotters right on the scene. George Levy helping to spot the Florida State Seminoles, and Don DeBlasio spotting the Pitt Panthers for us tonight. 3rd down, 13. Williams with a man in his face, and he gets it to Billy Allen. Allen's open, needs a block. Almost gets it, but he gets the first down deep in Pitt territory at the 13-yard line. Ken Burnett with that football rolling forward and fought his way for a big first down. Play carried from the 38 down to the Panther 13.
Well, Williams will just slip Burnett out of the backfield. Bobby Bowden was saying the other day that ex-fullbacks don't do much anymore. You hardly ever have them do anything but block, but he uses this Burnett. He used him as a pass receiver there, and last week against Cincinnati, I do believe he had him carry the football about 18 times.
They place the football at the 14-yard line, so that's a 24-yard gain. Williams to Burnett. Williams again, and at the goal line, the intended receiver, Dennis McKinnon, runs into contact, and a Panther gets up slowly. Providing the contact was Panther cornerback Troy Hill. Hill gets up slowly, but he's going to be okay. McKinnon got up a little quicker. They'll set up a second down and 10. Florida State leading 7-0 is driving on Pitt and has the ball at the 14-yard line. Tom McCormick is the Florida State center. The guards, Jamie Dukes to the right side, Ricky Runder to the left side, Jim Thompson, the tackle, to the left side, and Terry Widner, tackle to the right side. And another draw play, and this time it is Greg Allen, and he doesn't have much running room. A couple of yards forward to about the 12, possibly the 11-yard line. 4:49 on a first-quarter turning clock. Florida State with 7 and driving for more. Bill Moss made the tackle for Pitt with help from his offside tackle, Dave Pizzoli.
Moss moving in there in the nick of time, else once again the Seminoles hurt the Panthers with that draw play. They've got to close that off.
At the 12-yard line, 3rd down and 8. Florida State at the right side of the field as you see it to the right. Williams for the end zone. We've got a slip, and the pass is incomplete. The intended receiver, Dennis McKinnon, appeared to slip. Matter of fact, the Panther defender, I think, slipped on the play as well. Surface, one of the best natural surfaces in all of college football, is a good, dry, fast track tonight. That'll bring up 4th down, a field goal try for walk-on side kicker, sidewinder, I should say, Philip Hall, the sophomore from Tallahassee. His one field goal on the year, a 27-yarder. This will be held by Kelly Lowry at the 19. Call this a 29-yard attempt. Angle left to right. Hall hits it straight and true, and Florida State gets a couple of more points and leads it 10-0. And the Panthers really have their work cut out. 4:15 left in the first quarter. There's a pause in the action with a score. Florida State 10, the Panthers nothing. Panthers deep at the goal line have Darnell Stone, a freshman from Bethel Park, along with Timmy Lewis, who's going to field his short kickoff at his own 6-yard line behind the wedge. 15, and he breaks it open at the 25, the 30, the 40. Another good stiff arm by Timmy Lewis, and the Panthers get a big kick return from Tim Lewis, the youngster from Percy, Pennsylvania. He is tackled in Florida State territory and knocked out of bounds at the 43-yard line by strong safety Larry Harris and cornerback Gary Henry, members of that Florida State coverage unit. Let's take a look and see the wedge that really pops Timmy Lewis open for the big return.
Darnell Stone breaking up that alley. He'll put a good move on Rendina, the kicker, right there at the 40-yard line, and brings it down to the 42 of Florida State.
That's where the Panthers have it. The crowd again tries to become the 12th man on the field. They are vociferous. And the Panthers run into a wall, and down goes Brian Thomas. Dave Ponder, the middle guard, put the hit on him and knocked him off his feet for no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10. Marino trying to get the running game going, but Florida State, much credit to the Seminole defense. Dave Ponder, the middle guard, Carricker and Kojic, the tackles. The end now is Garth Jacks, a freshman from Houston, Texas. At one side, Kim Mack, a junior from Lake City, Florida, at the other side. Marino with a 2nd and 10 at the 42 of Florida State. The Panthers trailing 10-0. Marino over the middle. A man is open. With the football and the reception, Dwight Collins has a first down at the Florida State 21-yard line. Harvey Clayton, the cornerback, was trying to provide coverage, but that good speed and that great athletic ability of Dwight Collins got him open for the big gainer from the 42 down to the 21, a 21-yard gain.
So Collins finds the seam in that heavily populated secondary. Florida State emulating North Carolina, where Dick Crum devised a defense against Marino, 8 men playing in the secondary.
Flanker left this time as Collins. Dawkins, the split end right. And that's Brian Thomas getting a block from Fada outside, but not much running room. And on second effort, he gets to the 20-yard line, and markers are down. Alfonso Carricker, the right defensive tackle for Florida State, and linebacker Ken Rowe, who's kind of like the defensive quarterback for the Noles, made the tackle on the play. He had 16 tackles, number 38 Rowe, against Cincinnati in that squeaker of a win 2 weeks ago. A holding call, or a mask call, face mask, against Florida State is the preliminary signal from referee Tommy Miller of the Southern Independents. Got to be hot on that Panther bench tonight. Panthers have a couple of fans at both ends of the bench. So does Florida State. The mask officially is the penalty against Florida State. It's a big gainer for the Panthers. It'll go half the distance to the 11-yard line.
It's trailing 10-0, and for the first time tonight, acting as though they mean business when they have that football. The pass to Dwight Collins, which was good for about 21 yards, was actually Marino's first completion of the evening. We've got 2:55 remaining in the first period.
They mark the penalty down to the 11-yard line, and then they indicate that the mask is not an intentional mask,
yes.
so it's not a major penalty. They mark it off as a 5-yard penalty from the 20 down to the 15-yard line. And that's why Dan Marino came out to check with referee Tommy Miller. He said, why'd you move the ball back? And Miller explained it was not an intentional face mask.
But it is first down at the 15.
First and 5 at the 15. After the penalty for face masking. And the Panthers with Brian Thomas downing the I. Second man through, gets a couple of good yards into about the 12-yard line with the entire middle of that Florida State defense. Dave Ponder, the middle guard, the tackles Carricker and Fojic, and they bring him down. And they mark the football at about the 13-yard line. So let's call that a 2-yard game. It'll be second down and 3. The Panthers at the 13-yard line of Florida State, trailing 10-0, 2:20 left of the first quarter. Flanker left is Collins. Split end to the boundary. Julius Dawkins on the right side. Trying to slant. There's not much running room for Brian Thomas, and he's going to lose some yardage. Back out to the 22-yard line. Alfonso Carricker made the big defensive play for Florida State.
Good, strong defense by the Florida State Seminoles. And Danny Marino has got to get his passing game going. It would appear to open up the running game. Pitt came into this ball game feeling that they could run against Florida State, I do believe. But the Florida State Seminoles are playing tough defense. Brian Thomas, now 5 carries, minus 6 yards. Yes, indeed, minus 6 yards.
Panthers have a third down. We'll call it 9 to go for a first down. Big play for Pitt. Marino says, I can't hear. And now we have an indication for delay of game against the Panthers. That was the indication from referee Tommy Miller that we had a delay of game. Now I think the other officials are saying, hey, the kid asked for time. Gets the explanation from referee Miller of the Southern Independents.
And we've got a split crew here tonight. 3 officials from the Southern region and 3 Northern officials. The last time Pitt played here, they were not at all happy with the refereeing, and they made that known when this year's game was scheduled, so they did not get the same referee. They felt that he had a personal grudge against them.
The Panthers, a moment ago, were down to the 13-yard line. Now they have a 3rd and 14 at the 25. Marino to Brian Thomas. But he's hit hard and brought down by linebacker Ken Rowe. Big defensive play for the Seminole defense. He had gotten Thomas open with that little out pass. Thomas needed to fake the man out, was not able to. Rowe hung in there. And the Panther field goal kicking team is on the field.
Well, I think Danny Marino wanted to hit John Brown deep in the end zone, but John Brown was well covered, so he had to dump it off.
Eric Schuberts will be trying to kick the field goal. He is the soccer-style kicker. The hold by Danny Daniels. This will be a 40-yard attempt. Schubert hits the crossbar and goes over. The field goal is good. That's as close as you can come. If we get a replay on this, it's as close as you can come and still be successful.
I didn't think it was going to make it, Bill. So the Panthers get a break and they get on the scoreboard. Here's the replay. Let's look at it. It's going to have just enough gas. A little wide, a little right. Boom. And goes forward, and the Pitt Panthers have 3 points. So they trail the Florida State Seminoles 10-3 late in the first period.
Panthers moving. from the 42-yard line is where they started the drive. The field goal covered officially 39 yards, and that's Schubert's first career field goal. He's 1 for 3.
Does he practice those, Bill?
Oh, yes, he practices those a lot. As a matter of fact, at training camp this summer, he borrowed Snuffy Everett's shoe. Snuffy, of course, the straight-on kicker, and he kicked a 60-yarder and practiced straight on. He's got a mighty leg, that young man from New Jersey. Eric Schubert. Greg Allen will be one of the deep men for Florida State. Billy Allen, who's also listed at 200 pounds, is back there, along with Ricky Williams. They've got blazing speed on the Florida State Seminole return team. Schubert with a kick. Ranging under it at the 4-yard line is Greg Allen. Needs an opening. Gets it at the 20, 25, 30. Markers are down everywhere. There's one down at the 43, and there's a marker down back at the 25-yard line. So let's see what the markers say. Good return of that kickoff by Greg Allen. Florida State, team that likes to use that special teams play to come at you, and they do it.
Greg Allen is a good-looking player. He's not especially big, 5'11", 200 pounds, but he runs hard, and as a kick returner, shows you some good cuts, some good moves, a smooth running kick returner. But let's see what his rather nice return will amount to here and when we get the flags collected.
Cedric Jones gave him a nice punt return that set up their first score.
I started to say before that Bobby Bowden was on a tour of Europe giving football clinics, and people in the Air Force kept coming up to him and saying, you ought to see a kid named Greg Allen who plays service football. Well, he was in England, and who should show up at his clinic but Greg Allen? And he said, could I come by for a tryout when I get out?
Holding call against Florida State brings the ball back deep in the Florida State territory at the 11-yard line. The Seminoles lead it by a score of 10-3, and we've got 29 seconds left in the opening quarter. Panther offense in that last drive showed the ability to move the football for a while, then got down to the 13-yard line, but had to settle for 3 as they got backed up. Florida State defense came alive and stopped the drive and held them to 3 points instead of 7. First and 10, Florida State from their own 16-yard line. Williams wants to put it up right away. And the man is open on the far side of the field for the first down. Hassan Jones pulls it in near the 30-yard line and is out of bounds immediately. Actually, out near the 34-yard line is where they finally spot the football.
Well, you see, by making the draw work effectively earlier in the ball game, Williams can now fake that draw and find his receiver open because the pass rush has to be a little bit tentative.
Well, that time it was Ray Weatherspoon playing cornerback on that right side in place of Troy Hill. Williams wants it. A home run shot for Tony Johnson is incomplete. Johnson splitting the Panther defense. Troy Hill to one side, Tommy Flynn to the other, but the pass overthrown, and it'll be third down. Third down, Florida State with a 10-3 lead. Second down, my mistake. Second down and 10 at the 34-yard line. Now we got a discussion and a change of ends of the field. That's the end of the first quarter with a score. Florida State 10, the Panthers 3. We'll be right back after this. Fans are reminded that it's WTAE Radio Atari Jacket Day at the stadium when Pitt hosts Temple on October 16th. The first 5,000 kids at the game will receive a Pitt football windbreaker like this one. Compliments of WTAE Radio and Atari. Tickets available at any Ecobank office and also Gate 1 of Pitt Stadium. Florida State with a second and 10 at their own 34. Blair Williams off a play-action fake. Wants another long sideline pass. A big scramble for the ball. It's incomplete on the far sideline at the 47. Hassan Jones, the intended receiver, but he was in a lot of traffic. Coverage over on that side provided by Ray Weatherspoon, who's now playing some strong safety along with Troy Hill, the cornerback on the left side.
So Foge Fazio is indeed trying to get some of his bench into that defense with, of course, this Florida heat in mind.
I see now that Weatherspoon is playing the right corner in place of Timmy Lewis, who's getting a breather because they worked on Lewis very early and very often. Williams on 3rd and 10. Pass almost intercepted at the 50-yard line. Intended for Tony Johnson. Troy Hill made a good break on the ball and almost picked it off. Florida State on 4th down has the punting team on. 10-3. Florida State leads it early second quarter. Kelly Lowry is the punter Inheriting the job done so well for the past 4 years by Ron Stark, who's now kicking for the Baltimore Colts in the National Football League. Line of scrimmage at 34-yard line. On 4th down, Lowry gets it away. It's a wobbly kick. Panthers signal for the fair catch and get it at the 34-yard line. Tommy Flynn gets in under that ball and pulls it in. So the Panthers, with relatively decent field position near the 35-yard line, have a 1st and 10 trailing by 7.
Neither quarterback is really having an outstanding night throwing the ball. Williams is 6 for 19 for 88 yards. And Danny Marino has thrown 5 times, completed 2 for 24 yards. But Williams's throws, his completions did come at opportune moments during a touchdown drive.
The Panthers with a 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line will have to deal with adversity. This crowd is really a factor. Brian Thomas with a good second effort. Did he pick his way masterfully out across the 40-yard line to the 43 for good yardage, about 8 yards before safety Brian McCrary made the stop on the play. There are the stats in the first quarter, and the first downs tell the story. Completely dominated by Florida State. Time of possession dominated. Each team had 1 turnover, but look at the total yardage, 146 to 21. That's the story. That's why the Seminoles lead it 10-3 early second quarter. Panthers with a 2nd and about 1 at the 44-yard line. Marlon McIntyre, 50-45, breaks the tackle at the 40 and charges for the big first down to the Florida State 33. Marlon McIntyre, the sophomore from Bell Vernon High School, behind the blocking of Rob Fada, Jimbo Covert, and Jim Sweeney. Larry Harris, the strong safety, was completely faked out on the play, and McIntyre got by him, and McCrary and Clayton made the stop.
McIntyre running hard, breaking tackles both at the line of scrimmage and in the secondary, and carrying the ball to the 34-yard line of Florida State.
22-yard gain for a big back. 1st and 10 at the 34. Marino, quick pass, complete. Far sideline, out of bounds on the play with the football on the far side of the field. Pulling it in was tailback Brian Thomas, knocked out of bounds by linebacker Tommy Young of Seminoles. Let's take a look at it. Marino puts a little mustard on this ball as Thomas comes out of the backfield.
Brian Thomas is a pretty good pass catcher. He has mentioned to Danny Marino that he wants to save the skin on his hands for other purposes, and would he kindly times not scorch that ball so hard, but he's a good receiver.
2nd and 6 at the Florida State 30. Crowd chanting defense. Marino with a play action rollout. The pass is incomplete at the 20-yard line. Diving for the reception was John Brown. Couldn't make it. John Brown, the tight end from Burrow High School. The Florida State had a couple of people there, and Marino had to keep the ball down. And when he did, it skipped incomplete. Misfired. 3rd down and 6. Panthers trailing 10-3 with 13:30 left of the second quarter of play.
And thus far, Florida State has pretty well taken the wide receivers and the tight end, John Brown, away from Danny Marino. And Pitt has an outstanding core of wideouts, and John Brown himself a good one.
You hear the crowd. 3rd and 6. McIntyre. Good blocking. McIntyre will be short of the first down, but he gets to the 25-yard line. Brad Fosdick made the stop on the play, the tackle for Florida State.
So Marino now going to his fullback, Marlon McIntyre, a fellow who built himself up in the offseason to about 217 pounds. He had been about a 200-pounder. He's now on 3 carries, has gained 30 yards.
You see it, 4th and 1 at the 25-yard line. Marino looks at referee Tommy Miller and says, we can't hear.
Coach Fazio with a little conference on the sideline. We've got 4th down. 4th down, a yard to go.
Panthers will perhaps make the play the same one, or maybe they'll change it up here. In the meantime, they just take their time and get the crowd to hopefully quiet enough so that some people can hear the snap count. Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. Now the Florida State players, particularly Ken Rowe, the linebacker, signaling to the crowd, "You've got to cooperate with us. We don't want any penalties to result." If they make the announcement on the PA system and warn the crowd, and now you see Bobby Bowden talking things over with Tommy Miller, I'm sure what Bowden is saying is you can't let them take our crowd out of the ball game. Oj Fazio, the first-year head coach, former player at the University of Pittsburgh. It's 29th head coach.
The problem down there, Bill, may be that they're starting that 25-second clock a little ahead of time, and the official is urging them not to start it until they are told to.
Well, that already has happened, Myron, with one point. And there is Foge, and he is unloading on an official down at that sideline.
Don't let that happen.
Earlier, Marino turned around to signal for quiet, and he got a delay of game penalty. And I'm sure that's what the Panthers are complaining
Well, here they go, 4th and 1.
4th and 1. At the 25-yard line. Now they go to single setback. And the single setback gets the call. Does he make it? That's the question. It appears as though he did, but a good, strong tackle by Ken Rowe. The man with the football was Brian Thomas, I believe. Marlon McIntyre. Let's see if Big Mac makes it here. The sophomore from Bell Vernon. And he does. It is a first down for Pitt.
Ken Rowe is a first-class linebacker for the Seminoles, and he did put a hard hit on McIntyre, almost stopped him short of the sticks, but the Pitt Panthers are in business with the first down at the 24-yard line.
Good, strong second effort from Marlon McIntyre gives the Panthers a 1st and 10 at the Florida State 24. Now the umpire is drawn in to check the placement of the football, and we'll have another conference. They didn't like the ball, so they're going to get a new one. Again, Ken Rowe, the linebacker, signaling for help from the Florida State fans. Marino with an eye formation. Collins flanker right. Dawkins split end left. 1st and 10. Pitt at the Florida State 24. Thomas with a hole. Thomas spinning, twisting down to the 16-yard line. Linebacker Tommy Young got his leg, but Brian Thomas, he calls himself the BT Express, the senior from Oberlin, Ohio, with a fine run.
Thomas getting good blocking on the left side there from Ron Sams, the left guard. So the ball is advanced to the 17-yard line, and the Pitt offense is moving.
2nd down and 3. Interesting play call situation for Dan Marino, the Panthers senior quarterback. At the 17-yard line, Marino on 2nd and 3, wants a pass. Flare pass, McIntyre, and Mack gets to the 6-yard line. The sophomore is upended there by Tommy Young and Larry Harris. Young a linebacker, Harris the strong safety, and Marlon McIntyre rambles forward. Another Big Mac. Randy McMillan was Big Mac 1, and this is Big Mac 2.
Marino sending both backs downfield. Thomas going down the middle and cutting toward the sidelines, and then Marlon McIntyre filling in the middle, and he turned out to be the man Marino chose.
1st and goal at the 7-yard line, and a timeout is indicated by Florida State with 11:17 to go in the 2nd quarter. There's a timeout in the action here at Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. To score, Florida State 10, the Panthers 3. We'll be right back after this. Here in the 2nd quarter with 11:17 remaining, Bill Hillgrove along with Myron Cope high atop Doak Campbell Stadium viewing the action here. And an exciting ball game. Florida State with a 10-3 lead. The Panthers trying to move into tie, have a 1st and goal at the Seminoles 7-yard line. Single setback behind Dan Marino is Marlon McIntyre. Mack gets the call straight ahead, still on his feet, and plows forward to the 2-yard line. Good blocking up front. Jim Sweeney, Ron Sands. Left side, Rob Fada just drove the Florida State defensive wall forward. And they'll mark the ball just about the 3-yard line.
This drive started back at the Pitt 34, and perhaps surprisingly, the fuel for this drive has been the fullback, Marlon McIntyre. McIntyre, 5 carries for 36 yards.
2nd and goal at the 3-yard line. Power I backfield. They shift out of that and have a wing back to the right in Dwight Collins. And he goes in motion. Reverse motion. Roll out. Marino, end zone. It is out of bounds. Dwight Collins caught it across the boundary marker. Harvey Clayton, the cornerback, was beaten on the play, but the Panthers couldn't keep the ball on the field of play.
Well, they would like to get Dwight Collins with Harvey Clayton in that corner because Harvey Clayton stands only 5'9", and Dwight Collins is a big, powerful wide receiver. But alas, from Dan Marino's standpoint, no big six.
Third down and goal. Pitt at the Florida State 3-yard line. Again, the Power I. The attendance tonight, 56,236, a record crowd. Marlon McIntyre for the Panther touchdown. Big Mac off the left side, the weak side, and he got into the end zone. Marlon McIntyre
Getting up the middle. Little move to the outside, smashes through there and scores for Pitt. So the Panthers now trail 10-9 with 10:27 remaining in the second period.
Very
Jim Covert.
active. Myron, excuse me, very active in that pile was Jimbo Covert. He was blocking a couple of folks. Panthers driving. 11 plays covering 65 yards. Schubert to try the extra point. The kick by Eric Schubert is up and good. His first ever career extra point, and the Panthers have tied the game 10-10. There's a pause in the action with a score. Pitt 10, Florida State 10. We'll be right back after this. Eric Schubert, the man who tacked on the important extra point that has tied this game, drives Billy Allen deep into his own end zone. He'll down the ball in Florida State now. Having watched the Panthers score 10 unanswered points, we'll start first and 10 at their own 20-yard line. And we'll check that Panther defense closely for you to see if they make some substitutions. I see that at right cornerback, it is Ray Weatherspoon, a 5'11", 195-pound junior from Clairton High School, a transfer from Penn State, playing in place of Timmy Lewis, the senior from Percy, Pennsylvania. There it is, the scoring drive, 65 yards, and I'd say the man who gets the star in the helmet for that one is Big Mac, Marlon McIntyre. I think he had something like 37 of the 65 yards.
Yes, that's about it, Bill. 36 to be exact.
Let's see what Blair Williams, the senior quarterback for the Seminoles, does. First and 10 at his own 20-yard line. On the sweep, Ricky Williams looking for an alley. It's not there. The Panther defense strings it out very well. I think Williams may have gotten a yard. Tackle Dave Pizzoli was there to put the wrap on him, along with linebacker Rick Fraynack.
Well, the defense got a good rest during that long Pitt drive, so perhaps they're a little more active now as they come back out on the field. And incidentally, Pitt announced just before the ball game that the Pitt-West Virginia game on October 2nd is a sellout.
Bill Moss made a fine job of containment there on that play. Second down, we'll call it 9. With the football on the draw play, Ricky Williams. And he is strung out to the sideline, but he picks up about 3 yards. Cedric Jones, not Ricky Williams, that was Cedric Jones with the football, the sophomore from Valdosta, Georgia, trying to slip outside. Panther offensive line with a good job on the drive. Jimbo Covert nearest you. Tony Magnelli right next to him. Bill Fralick out beyond him. Getting a well-deserved rest. Now the Panthers make a couple of defensive substitutions. Out of the ball game at nose guard is J.C. Pelusi, and in is Rob Shilkin, the freshman from Mount Lebanon. Timmy Lewis comes back on at right cornerback, and Weatherspoon goes out. Florida State now with a third down and 6 at the 24-yard line. Williams faking the draw play. Evading the pressure. Stepping out. Open man. That is Burnett, the fullback. Trips out of one tackle and gets close to first down yardage. It will be awfully close. Ken Burnett, the fullback, out of the backfield, but I tell you what, Myron, you can't give enough credit to this guy, Blair Williams. He gets rid of pressure in a hurry, doesn't he?
He sure does, and were it not for Troy Benson, a Pitt linebacker, who just managed to get a hold of the receiver's shoes, as you'll see, well, it might have turned into a sizable game. Benson staying right with him.
It's not enough. It's fourth down, and punter Kelly Lowry is on. Not much of a rush, and he gets it away. It's a wobbly short kick. The Panthers come up to meet it with a fair catch at the 42-yard line by Tommy Flynn. Pitt with excellent field position, having tied this game 10-10, has some room to operate. 10-10 tie, 8:22 midway through the second quarter of play.
Well, Pitt came into this ball game a favorite by slightly over a touchdown. But Florida State, mind you, has a win streak going, 16 consecutive wins in night games played here. Sort of an exotic record, a night game record, but 16 in a row. Here goes Pitt.
And it's on 41. Good run on first down by Marlon McIntyre. Oh, Joe McCall is the tailback in there now. The 6'1" junior from Miami, Florida. So the Panthers doing liberal substitution on offense. Brian Thomas gets a blow, and Joe McCall gets the call and gets pretty good yardage out to the 47-yard line. Call that a gain of 6. It'll be second down and 4. McIntyre trying to string it out. He can't turn the corner. He gets maybe 2 yards to the 49-yard line. Forced out of bounds by John McClain, the defensive right end for Florida State.
On a very still, humid night in Tallahassee, we're now getting a bit of a breeze, which I suppose would be welcome to the Pitt Panthers, who, of course, came out tonight for their warm-ups wearing T-shirts only. Obviously, the weather conditions on their minds.
Third down, 2. Pitt at its own 49-yard line. 10-10 tie, second quarter. Marino with play action. Open wide. First down, Julius Dawkins. He wants more. At the 45-yard line, they string it out. He can't get any more and loses the football. Fortunately, it's out of bounds. The Panthers hold on and have a first down in Florida State territory at about the 36-yard line. Harvey Clayton made the pop on the play to guard the ball loose. Had help from linebacker Prince Mack.
Number 48.
Ball at the 36-yard line. A good first down gain on the Marino to Dawkins' pass.
Dawkins will take this ball over the middle and then run toward the sideline sort of at half speed, running along with Harvey Clayton, a defensive back, hoping to put a burst on Clayton, but Clayton staying with him, and eventually Dawkins is surrounded.
15-yard gain to Dawkins. First and 10 at the 36, and that's McCall. And he's hit hard out of bounds on the far side of the field, and the markers fly. Late hit out of bounds. Gary Henry, the quarterback, knocked the ball carrier, the receiver, McCall, out of bounds, and then somebody else came along and made what appears to be a late hit. Let's see what the call is from referee Tommy Miller. It happened right in front of the Panther bench.
Would you have expected, Bill, that at this point in the ball game, Dan Marino would have thrown only 6 times? I mean, 11 times, I'm sorry. He's 6 for 11. Even so, that's not all that big a total. He's thrown for 56 yards.
The penalty is marked off, much to the chagrin of the 56,236 loyalists here, rooting for Florida State. Very nice way to cool off on a hot evening. Timmy Lewis and Ray Witherspoon enjoying the fans. Pitt now with a first and 10 at the 19-yard line. Late hit gives the Panthers a big gain on the penalty. Joe McCall at the 5 and down to the 3-yard line. Jackrabbit Joe, the youngster from Miami, who had family make the trip up from Miami to watch him play tonight. And when he gets the call, he uses it all.
Oh, McCall had a lot of running room here, and he was coming hard. And Ken Rowe, the linebacker at the 10-yard line, could not stop him. So McCall was down to the 4-yard line.
15-yard gain for Joe McCall. Pitt shifts out of the power I. Collins, the wingback. From the 4-yard line. Collins in motion. Against the motion. Into the end zone for the Panther touchdown is fullback Marlon McIntyre. And the Panthers take the lead.
Well, Pitt's ball carriers, Myron McIntyre and Joe McCall, they've been something since the Panthers have come to life. Myron McIntyre twisting and stomping his way into the end zone, and Pitt has taken the lead.
Panthers started in excellent field position at their 41-yard line. Eric Schubert trying his second extra point of the night. Bangs it home. And the Panthers take a 17-10 lead. 6:54 left of the second quarter. There's a pause in the action. The score, Pitt 17, Florida State 10. We'll be right back after this. Pitt fans are reminded that tickets for all future Panther home games except West Virginia Notre Dame can be ordered at any Equibank office, Gate 1 of Pitt Stadium, the 9th floor of Kaufman's downtown, or by calling the Pitt Ticket office 624-4601. You can use your Visa or Master charge. The Panthers have taken the 17-10 lead. Eric Schubert's kickoff is a knuckleball, and it's tough to field, but Billy Allen wants to bring it out. 10, 15, hold of the 20, out to the 24-yard line. Fine kickoff return for Billy Allen. The wind has picked up considerably here at Doak Campbell Field, and it's cooled off just a little bit too, and that certainly can augur well for the Panthers. Blair Williams is not going to be the quarterback for Florida State. Kelly Lowry will come in at quarterback, 6'1", 225 pounds. He's also the Florida State Seminole punter. There you see the Panther touchdown drive. The offensive line doing a masterful job for Pitt.
Yes, indeed. And McIntyre, of course, has scored both of the Panther touchdowns on short bursts.
Line of scrimmage, the 24-yard line, first down. High slot left for quarterback Kelly Lowry. Got a mix-up back there. The straight-ahead play by fullback Ken Vermette does not get anywhere, and the Panthers are right there to stop it. Yogi Jones, the Panther right linebacker, number 59 from Ringgold High School, helping to make the tackle for Pitt, along with J.C. Pelosi and Bill Moss.
Kelly Lowry, a Husky quarterback, 6'1", 223 pounds, a junior out of Lake City, Florida.
No gain on the play, second down and 10. Panthers dig in. High flanker left. Pitch back toward the flanker. Panthers try to string it out. Ricky Williams fights his way forward for a couple of yards. Out across the 25 to the 26. Cornerback Timmy Lewis in run support, making the defensive play for the Panthers. Clock winds down to 6 minutes left of the second quarter. The Panthers lead 17-10.
Deep pitch to Williams. But there appears to be...
He showed the change of direction that he possesses. Third down, 7 at the 27. Lowry wants to pass. And it's complete to the fullback, Ken Burnett. A good job of faking out a couple of Panther tacklers. And he gets the Florida State first down. Dave Pizzoli finally made the tackle for Pitt with help from free safety Tommy Flynn. But a good job by the fullback that time of faking out tacklers along the way.
Just let the Pitt defense come. Let the pass rush come. So that's twice tonight that they've used Burnett, the fullback, as a receiver. Florida State with the ball at their 39-yard line.
Burnett picks up 11 yards on the pass play and a first down for Florida State. Option play for Kelly Lowry. And he finally pitches it back. We're off to the races with the football. Ricky Williams. And he's finally knocked out of bounds on the far side of the field. Ricky Williams smelled pay dirt that time, but Tommy Flynn, the Panther free safety, saved the day for Pitt. But it's still a good gain on the option with quarterback Kelly Lowry pitching the ball actually after he was upfield.
Well, I think Bobby Bowden pulled one out of his sleeve here. And he has been known to be a coach who will try to come up with a surprise. And you had to know that that man was expected. Williams was expected there by the quarterback.
30-yard gain for number 44, Ricky Williams, who dots the Florida State eye. This time, the give is to the up back, Ken Burnett, the fullback, and he plows straight ahead for short yardage, where he's met by J.C. Pelosi, Dave Pizzoli, and Bill Moss, the entire center of that Panther defensive wall. Coach Foge Fazio with Joe Nonchak to his left and Bob Davie to his right. There's the Florida State bench with Coach Bobby Bowden, with quarterback coach Mike Kruzik. The ball is placed at the 29-yard line. A gain of 3. It's second down and 7. Florida State driving at the Pitt 29. The Panthers lead 17-10 on the scoreboard. Option to the left this time. Panthers string it out. With the football is Ricky Williams, and down he goes. Yogi Jones made the tackle. But Tommy Flynn, Michael Woods, and Pete Short helped to string it out that time. Yogi Jones finally brought the man down. Along the line of scrimmage for no gain, it's third down and 7. 4:12 left of the second quarter. The clock is turning at this moment.
Tommy Flynn not being surprised by this option play, coming up on the outside and closing that off, so he read the play well.
Flanker to the right is Tony Johnson. They split a man to the left side. Hassan Jones out of the I formation. Lowry with a draw play, and it's smelled. Ricky Williams runs into the waiting arms of Bill Moss for no gain on the play. They may have lost a half yard. That'll bring up 4th down for Florida State. Trailing this contest 17-10. We're getting into the late stages of this, the second quarter.
Charlie Bailey, Pitt's defensive coach, pointed out the other day that Bill Moss had played a tremendous game against North Carolina and had made 2 sacks, whereupon Moss said, I hope he'll remember those 2 sacks when he puts the nickel back in. In other words, leave me in. I want to play a lot of ball, and he does.
Florida State wants to go for it on 4th and 9. Panthers with a nickel defense. Lowry out of the pocket, gets the pass downfield. It is complete at the 16-yard line. What a catch by Dennis McKinnon, because he was hit hard by Pete Short, and he maintained possession of the football.
Bill Moss putting good pressure on the quarterback, almost getting to him. And a Pitt defensive back playing the interception, as you can see. The safety man coming up, Tim Lewis, but not getting there in time. So Florida State has a first down at the 16. They trail 17-10 late in the second period.
15-yard pickup. Lowry to McKinnon. 1st and 10 at the 16. With a draw play. Forward, Ricky Williams. And he gets inside the 15 to the 14-yard line, where Rick Cranack, the Panther linebacker, made the stop on the play with help from his other linebacker, Yogi Jones. Jeff Bowden, the coach's son, had come into the game for one play and now comes off the field. He's a wide receiver.
And speaking of the coach's son, Jack Nicklaus's son, Steve, who sometimes caddies for him, is on the Florida State team and dressed tonight. He's a receiver.
Florida State calls its second timeout. They have 1 remaining with 2:17 to go in the first half. There's a pause in the action here in the second quarter with a score. Pitt 17, Florida State 10. We'll be right back after this. 2:17 left in the second quarter. Pitt leading, but Florida State threatening to tie and perhaps go ahead in this ball game. And there you see the timeouts remaining in the half. Florida State has 1. The Panthers have all 3.
Pitt several times tonight has been around that football in the secondary and come close to intercepting. Actually, they've only picked off one of Florida State's passes, but there again at the 16-yard line a few moments ago, Tim Lewis almost did it, but he didn't get there, so Florida State is threatening.
Flanker to the short side is Tony Johnson. Hassan Jones split end left. Florida State with a 2nd and 8 at the 14. Pitch back. And there's an opening at the 10 for Ricky Williams at the 5, and he's knocked down at the 4-yard line. He gets a 1st and goal for Florida State. So the option play has the Panthers somewhat befuddled. That time it was very obvious that the pitch man was completely uncovered.
Yes, the Pitt defense was dead asleep on this one. Now look at that running room. Well, you don't get to look at it. But Florida State down at the Pitt 4-yard line.
And an injured player in free safety, Tommy Flynn. And he's being attended to by the Panther training corps. We'll have a stoppage of play here.
Ricky Williams driving down that sideline. He's now got 66 yards on 9 carries, so he's having quite a first half. 2 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the first half. Tommy Flynn on his feet.
There's Renegade. And the man aboard is David Williams, the Seminole Warrior. And there is Tommy Flynn coming off the field. He appears that he's going to be okay, and perhaps we'll see further action. Panther bench. Art Lowry, number 90. Number 9 is Ray Weatherspoon. 2 tight ends now for Florida State with a 1st and goal at the Panther 4-yard line. After the 10-yard pickup on the pitchback by Ricky Williams, who's having a fine night for the Seminoles. Right side of the field is to the left. Lowry rolls that way and missing in the end zone. The intended receiver had gotten a step on the defender. That's fullback Ken Burnett. But the pass was just a bit wide. Dan Short was close to him, but if the pass had been on target, it wouldn't have been close enough. So that'll set up a 2nd and goal at the 4. The clock stops at 1:47.
A play action pass, a fake to Ricky Williams heading up the middle, and then the toss into the corner. Incomplete, of course. So the Pitt Panthers have their work cut out for them, but the Florida State Seminoles, they've been a peppy team out there tonight, and they've caught fire again here.
2 tight ends. The flanker left is McKinnon on 2nd and goal at the 4. That is Ricky Williams. Needs a block. Gets down to about the 1-yard line. The Panthers stopped him short of the goal line. A good tackle by Dan Short and Yogi Jones. But Florida State now will have a 3rd and goal from just outside the 1.
Little toss to Williams. Getting good blocking off that left side and running hard. Down to the 1.
Burnett comes out at fullback, and into the ball game is Cedric Jones. High flanker right. Ricky Williams. And he gets into the end zone with great second effort. The Panthers appeared to have him stopped at the goal line, but he drove forward and got the score. Chris Dolman had a shot at him, but couldn't keep him out of the end zone. And Florida State has a chance to tie the game or go ahead if they decide to try for 2, which I doubt at this point.
Well, Troy Hill tried to stop him at the goal line. He'd been tripped up at the 3, but he was still coming. So Florida State going for that extra point attempt that'll deadlock the score.
Place kicker Philip Paul gets the hold from Kenny Lowry. The kick is up, and the game is tied. 17-17 with 1:01 left of the second quarter.
So the Pitt Panthers, ranked number 1 in the country by the UPI and number 2 by the AP, have their hands full here tonight in Tallahassee, just as they had their hands full when they opened the season at home against the North Carolina Tar Heels. We've got a 17-17 football game, and here comes the guy to throw his spear. Well, throw the spear. It seems like a good time. You call that a spear with all those feathers on it?
I guess that's the flaming spear. And Bobby Bowden joked to the press luncheon on Tuesday, Myron, that he doesn't throw that thing as well as he used to. The arm's getting kind of rusty on the old Chief.
Well, it looks like it might not be a bad play on 3rd and short, but somebody might get hurt.
Philip Hall will do the kickoff now. Rendina tried the earlier 2 kickoffs for Florida State, but now Hall, who has tacked on the extra points tonight and has also added a field goal, well, he'll be trying the kickoff here from the 40-yard line of Florida State. The Panthers deep at the goal line have Timmy Lewis and Darnell Stone. Would they try an onside kick here with 1:01 left of the second quarter in a tie ball game, 17-17? Panthers have their regular kick return team on the field. Philip Hall says, "I'm ready for play," and he pop kicks it. And the Panthers get it at the 25. Rich Dukovic comes out to the 30-yard line, and he's dropped immediately. Tommy Young made the hit on the play. And the Panthers with Rich Dukovic, the youngster from Bethel Park, pulling in that short pop kick of Philip Hall. So the Panthers will be starting from the 30-yard line. In the Cincinnati game, I believe the Bearcats at least once, Myron, fair caught the kickoff. The same type by Hall.
Was that right? Well, what do you think? Pitt going to try to get more points on the board. They've got 57 seconds remaining. Marino with a sort of a brisk wind at his back, though that probably means very little.
He's got receivers everywhere, and he's going to throw it. Dan Marino, wide open. John Brown can't hold on at the 42-yard line. Juggled the ball, then was hit by cornerback Harvey Clayton. The nickel defense had gotten spread that time. Brown was wide open, but just couldn't hold on. The clock stops on the incompletion with 50 seconds left of the second quarter. Tie game 17-17.
Pitt would have had the ball down around the Florida State 40-yard line had John Brown hung on. And perhaps with another decent gain or 2 could have gotten a field goal before the gun ending the first half. But here they are, 2nd and 10 at their 30.
Double flanker. Pop pass. Brian Thomas spins out of one man's control and gets out to the 40-yard line. Tommy Young put the wraps on him. And the Panthers now go with a hurry-up offense. Clock winds down to 40 seconds left in the second quarter. Panthers would love to get in field goal range for Eric Schubert. Marino with a hurry-up offense. Safety valve, Marlon McIntyre. Can't get around his man. We've got a marker down at the 50-yard line. Larry Harris made the tackle. But a marker's down at midfield, stopping the clock at 23 seconds left of the second quarter. Here comes referee Tom Miller of the Southern Independents to indicate a holding call against Pitt. 23 seconds left of the second quarter. 17-17 tie. Florida State has just driven 76 yards in 13 plays. And they came up with the option offense to do it, springing Ricky Williams loose for a 30-yard gain and a big first down from the Florida State 38 to the Pitt 32-yard line. Then a pass to Dennis McKinnon of 15 yards and a first down at the 16. Ricky Williams with a 10-yard gain to the 4. And then on 3rd and goal at the 1, Williams plowed his way into the end zone with great second effort, and Florida State has tied the game. Panthers have 3 timeouts remaining, and now the clock winds down to 17, 16. Down to 14 seconds. Marino with a draw play, and the Panthers will just be content to wind out the second quarter of action. Marlon McIntyre gets absolutely nowhere. And that's it. And the crowd loves it at Go Campbell Stadium. 56,236 strong. That's the end of the first half of action with a score. The Pitt Panthers 17. The Seminoles of Florida State 17. Back with halftime festivities right after this.
Your MTV. I want my MTV.
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV.
MTV, music, television, video, music, 24 hours a day, and it's stereo.
Call your cable company and say, I want my MTV.
I know about that first half.
Conditions here appear as though they're going to be turbulent. You know, it's going to be a problem to these football teams if it continues this way. You have that rain sort of sliding across the field. And looking back on the first half, Bill, the interesting thing about Bowden's strategy was that Kelly Lowry, the second-string quarterback who came in to run that option attack, is really known as a thrower more so than as a runner, than as an option quarterback. And I think that, too, is what crossed up Foge Fazio and his Pitt coaches. And I referred earlier to a third man. His name is Eric Thomas, and he is supposed to be the best option quarterback of the 3, and we're liable to see him. And perhaps in weather conditions such as this, it would make sense.
You know, when a team has 2 weeks to prepare, as Florida State did for the Panthers, it certainly is to their advantage. And you wouldn't think that in 2 weeks you could put in an option attack if you don't show against your first opponent. But I tell you this, the rain is still continuing to pelt this natural turf surface, this Bermuda grass surface, and with it comes the wind. And we might add that the storm earlier did cause some technical problems that kind of crept into our telecast, and for those we apologize, but the weatherman just moved in and took over, and that's the way it is. There was some lightning in the distance. I haven't noticed any sparklers near the stadium proper. Mike Rendina getting set to kick off for Florida State. Stone and Lewis deep for the Panthers, but this will be one of those pop kicks. And it'll be fielded, not fielded so well, at the 10-yard line. Coming forward with that football for the Panthers on the kick return team is Todd Marigus. Todd Marigus gets out and gets it to only the 16-yard line. And so that's where the Panthers operate, and they'll be going into the teeth of this wind, which is from left to right. Manny Carballo, one of the captains of tonight's game, made the stop for the Florida State Seminoles, and it is just one big sheet of rain right now at Tallahassee. 16-yard line. The Panthers have it 1st and 10. Marino out of the I formation, slot right. Quick toss to the slot man. Dwight Collins tries to go outside, nothing there, and he'll be hit and hit hard, but he'll pick up about 5 yards on the play, out to the 20, possibly the 21. Garth Jacks, a defensive end for Florida State, makes the tackle on the play. So the Panthers come out with that short pop pass to the slot man off to the right side, Dwight Collins.
Julius Dawkins alongside him. You'll see him come into the picture trying to give him a block, but Collins is surrounded, has no place to go. But it is a first down for the Pitt Panthers.
To the 26-yard line. Dwight Collins with 10 yards on the reception. The Panthers get a quick first down. Slot left this time, and the rain's even harder. And the give is to the fullback, Marlon McIntyre, and he plows out to about the 29-yard line, where again Garth Jacks, J-A-X, the defensive end for Florida State, made the stop. The lightning very visible in the distance. Big Mac behind the blocking there off the right side. Gets a couple of yards. Ball is spotted at just about, we'll call it the 30-yard line. So that'll be a gain of around 4 yards. Be second down and 6. High flanker left is the formation. Brian Thomas got a block, went outside and got to the 35, almost to first down territory. At the 36, he may be inches shy. Linebacker Kenny Rowe made the stop with help from Harvey Clayton, who really put a hit on Brian Thomas.
Well, the Florida defense playing the right defensive end. I believe that's Brian Williams in there, playing him off the line, and Pitt put blockers on him heavily there so that Brian Thomas had some pretty decent running room off that left side. It's now third down, a yard to go for the Panthers at their 35-yard line.
And it's not quite a yard. It's about the length of the football, maybe half a yard. On third down, Marino to his tailback Thomas. Through the hole, he gets the first down out to the 40 to the 41-yard line. Good hole on the left side. Center Jim Sweeney. Guard Rob Fata. Guard Ron Sams, and they cleared the way. Needed just about a half a yard and got that and more. Got about 4 plus. First down and 10. The Panthers in a 17-17 tie. 12:45 third quarter. The rain continues to pelt Doak Campbell Stadium. Calling it the 41-yard line, so we'll go with that. First and 10. Thomas trying to go outside, but the hole closes up. Ron Sams trying to clear the way, but a good defensive end on that side. Alan Dale Campbell, very fine one from Perry, Florida, a 6'4", 240-pound junior. Number 90, Rob Fata, number 64 for Pitt. Number 75, Jimbo Covert making the stop, making the block that allowed the gain on the play out to about the 44-yard line.
The Florida coaches say that Alan Dale Campbell could be as good a defensive end, or at least as good a pass rusher as any in the country, but they sort of have to give him a kick in the rear end now and again.
The rain is unbelievable, and the wind picks up. Marino wants to throw into it. Pressure. The pass is to Brian Thomas, complete at midfield. With a great fake, he's at the 45-40, 35, and knocked out of bounds at the Florida State 32-yard line by cornerback Harvey Clayton. The Panthers that time came up with a big offensive play in this unbelievable rainfall.
Oh, what a nice move by Thomas after he got that football. He caused 2 Florida State men, a defensive back and a linebacker, to run smack into each other in the middle of the ball field. Marino slips the pass rush, dumps it to Thomas. Now 54, bam, well, down in the corner of your screen, you saw him run into, well, I didn't catch his name, but
back to live action to give up the middle of fullback Marlon McIntyre, and he has nowhere to go. He gets to about the 29-yard line. The officials working hard to keep the ball dry, trying to keep it covered with a towel. The rain here is unbelievable. We're in a monsoon. Make no mistake about that. And if you're wondering why we had some video breakup through this telecast, here's the reason. Second down, about 8. The Panthers to Brian Thomas, nowhere to go. The Florida State defense begins to stiffen.
And the Florida State defense did come into this ball game as a very suspect unit. And coming into the season, Bobby Bowden was very worried about that defense. They gave up 31 points to Cincinnati last week, but the defense was not entirely to blame for that. I believe it was offensive turnovers that accounted for a couple of Cincinnati touchdowns.
Florida State going to a 4-3 defense. They hide Kim Mack, a linebacker, right behind the nose guard. Now the Seminoles try to make a late change, and they won't have time. They tried to run number 84, Garth Jacks, onto the field as the Panthers broke the huddle. Now the Panthers will re-huddle, so Florida State gets a chance to bring some people into the game.
And now we're getting a cold shower in the booth.
It was about an hour ago, Myron, we complained about the heat, and now we're going to complain about getting wet. Third down, 6 at the 28-yard line. 17-17, third quarter time. Marino Green pass to the right side. There's Marlon McIntyre, and McIntyre gets the first down and more inside the 20 to about the 16-yard line. Ken Rowe, linebacker for Florida State, made a touchdown-saving tackle on the far sideline.
McIntyre had Rob Fay to the guard pulling and Fay to downfield blocking for him. As we look at it again, there's McIntyre digging, and you see Fay to come across and remove the linebacker, or the cornerback rather, on the far side. So the Panthers at the 16-yard line, 1st and 10.
12-yard first down pass. Marino to McIntyre in the rain. This is 1st and 10 at the Florida State 16-yard line. The give to tailback Brian Thomas on his feet to the goal line, and the Panthers are in for the score. A 16-yard run for Brian Thomas, and the Panthers jump back on top in a hurricane here at Tallahassee.
Oh, just a heck of a run by Brian Thomas. They call him the BT Express. Look at him go. Takes 2 tacklers with him down to the goal line.
That indeed is the BT Express, and the Panthers on Brian Thomas' 16-yard run get into the end zone and lead this contest 16-10. And they drove the ball, Myron, they drove that ball 84 yards in a driving rainstorm.
Now did they signal? They didn't signal a score.
Yes, the referee on this side, the official on this side, signaled a touchdown. They're calling it down at the 1-yard line, at the goal line, inches away. So now Pitt is forced to call a timeout. So hold up on the touchdown. I saw one official signal TD. The official on this side of the field at the goal line signaled touchdown, but they take it away. There's a pause in the third quarter action. The score, Pitt 17, Florida State 17. We'll be right back after this. The Panthers fumble the football at the goal line. Fortunately, quarterback Dan Marino falls on it back at the 6-yard line. The Panthers maintain possession. So we'll take a look at the play at the goal line. Marlon McIntyre is hit hard, and there's the ball. And there's Marino to save the Panthers, at least possession for Pitt. Now the Panthers have a 2nd down and goal from the 6. Loose football. The Panthers fortunately fall on it. I believe Brian Thomas got there first. The Panthers thought they were into the end zone. There was a signal of a touchdown. Then from the goal line, a fumble, and now a center exchange problem. And Marlon McIntyre falls on the ball for the Panthers.
Well, I don't think you're going to kick any long field goals in this stuff, Bill, so maybe you Pitt can look at it from that rosier side of the coin. Namely, they're still down there close, and if they don't get in on this 3rd down and 6 play, well, they've got a fairly short field goal, but with this rain blowing into their face.
We'll call it the 6-yard line. On 3rd down and goal for the end zone. Intercepted. And Florida State on a touchback has possession. Listen to the crowd at Doak Campbell Stadium.
Well, Julius Dawkins went up in the air with Harvey Clayton, the little 5'9" defensive back, and the ball popped loose. Deflected to a Florida State man. I did not catch. I believe it is
Larry Harris, Myron.
Larry Harris.
Who pulled it in. And now Kelly Lowry will be the Florida State quarterback. Not known as an option quarterback, but he gave the Panthers problems in an earlier drive that tied the game. There's the replay. Dawkins got a piece of it. It's still in the air, and Harris falls under the ball. Florida State 1st and 10 at the Seminole 20-yard line in a tie game. Going to the pitch to Ricky Williams. And he finds a hole outside, and he gets out to the 25-yard line. A good 5-yard pickup for Ricky Williams. Dave Pizzoli helping to make the tackle on the play for Pitt. Also helping Tommy Flynn, the free safety. Panthers try to string it out, but finding the seam is Williams. Good change of direction, and he gets through there and gets the extra couple of yards. 5-yard gain. And a Panther is down on the play and injured at the 22-yard line.
Pitt trainers out attending to the injured Pitt Panther. I cannot make out his number. It's a little difficult in this wet stuff.
It appears to be a leg problem for one of the Panther defenders. Head trainer Kip Smith out attending to the fallen Panther. Game tied 17-17. 7:39 left in the third quarter. In a driving thunderstorm in Tallahassee, Florida.
This thunderstorm reminds me of one I saw Pitt play in many years ago in Miami against the Miami Hurricanes. Rick Cranack, the very good Pitt linebacker, is the injured man. And he'll be a big loss if he cannot get back into action. Now they have him up on his feet and helping him off the ball field. Does appear to have a leg injury. He's one of the key men in the Pitt defense. But
I didn't think it could rain any harder, Myron, but it is. Florida State with a 2nd and 5 at their own 25-yard line. The quarterback, Kelly Lowry, pitch back to Williams, but he's going to be hit for a loss on the play. Good defensive surge that time for the Panthers. Middle guard J.C. Pelusi, also pressure from the outside. And they down the ball carrier, Ricky Williams, short of the line of scrimmage, a loss of 2. It'll be 3rd down, and let's say that it's going to be about 7.
Michael Woods broke through on that play. Pitt's very swift defensive end and very nearly tossed Williams for a loss of about 5 or 6 yards, but wasn't able to hang on. 3rd down and 6.
From the 22-yard line, Kelly Lowry, the Seminole quarterback. On the naked bootleg, down he goes. Fine defensive play for the Panthers. Michael Woods was right on the play. The naked bootleg, the flow went to the right, Lowry went to the left, and Michael Woods came in and really made a big stop for Pitt, and the Florida State punt team is on. The most consistent, dependable Panther defensively. I would say that he and Rick Cranack are the 2 real Mr. Steadies of that Panther defense. Lowry, the punter, has a loose snap. Kick is blocked. It goes straight up in the air. Loose ball. They're fighting for it at the 5-yard line, and they go into the end zone for a Panther touchdown. The Panthers pulled that ball out of the air and in there for the score.
I believe it was Michael Brooks who blocked the punt, and Art Lowry caught that football, picked it out of the air, and went in for the score.
A big defensive play. A bad snap for Kelly Lowry. He tries to get it away. And I think the kick hit the back of a Florida State blocker. And Lowry, number 90, reaches up with a teammate, pulls it in, and goes in for the score. Was Chris Dolman also around the football? I believe he was. The Panthers take the lead. Eric Schubert, out of the hold by Danny Daniels, will be trying the extra point. The conditions are deplorable, and that is an understatement. The rain is still very hard. Eric Schubert gets a good hold and a good snap from Tony Magnelli. Schubert puts it through, and the Panthers lead it 24-17. Here in the monsoon in the third quarter with 6:06 left. There's a pause in the action with a score. Pitt 24, Florida State 17. Back to Tallahassee after this. Eric Schubert drove a knuckleball kickoff that just slid along this Bermuda grass surface at Doak Campbell Stadium, and it went right through the end zone. Florida State with a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Trailing 24-17, the Panthers on top by 7. Kelly Lowry back to Ricky Williams. Finds a hole. Good dancing. Forward to the 25, 7 yards to the 27-yard line. Ricky Williams.
And, Bill, it is confirmed from the Pitt bench that it was Art Lowry. He scored the Pitt touchdown. The Panthers lead the Florida State Seminoles 24-7, and we've seen how the rain and the wind is now affecting this ball game.
Art Lowry, junior college transfer from Scottsdale Community College, which also sent a couple of players earlier to Pitt. I'm talking about Randy Cousins and Danny Fiddler. He's from Navasota, Texas. He gets the big score on the block punt. 2nd down and about 3 for Florida State. And with that football, Ricky Williams is upended as he's about to the 29-yard line, short of 1st down yardage, making the defensive play for Pitt, number 52, J.C. Pelusi, the last of the football Pelusis. Bill Moss helping on the stop as well.
And as I started to say, Bill, the ball obviously is wet, and I suppose that was the cause of the 2 Pitt fumbles inside the 5-yard line of Florida State, the Panthers falling on both of them. And I would suppose that the Florida State punter, not being able to hang on to that snap, could blame it on the wet ball. Williams, 15 carries, 82 yards.
3rd down, about half a yard. Not even that, it's inches. Pitch back. Greg Allen got the 1st down and more in the driving rain. And he gets to the 35-yard line. Did the ball pop loose? That's the question. It is very difficult to tell from this vantage point with that driving rain to try to see through, but apparently Florida State holds on. Caesar Aldersert made the stop with help from Pete Short. Big bruising. Greg Allen, 210 pounds. Aldersert hits and the ball is loose, and fortunately for Florida State, it is Allen who got it back. First down. Florida State at its own 35-yard line. Lowry wants to put it up. Flare pass incomplete for Greg Allen. Threw it too tall. I wouldn't want to try to throw that. It's got to feel like a bar of soap in your hands right now, Myron.
I would suppose so.
The wind has died down a little bit, but we still have a driving rainstorm.
Little better than 4 minutes remaining in the third period, and Pitt leading Florida State 24-17.
56,000 plus, a record crowd at Doak Campbell Stadium. Some of them, as a matter of fact, the left end zone is completely empty. The right end zone is half empty. Fans are ducking. Lowry. Mowat can't hold on. The tight end. Coverage on the far side by Panther linebacker Caesar Aldersert, the fine sophomore from Mount Lebanon. And Pete Short, the strong safety from Aliquippa. Bodes Fazio with a rain jacket. His Panthers leading 24-17 as the clock is stopped on the incompletion at 4:14 left of the third quarter. Don't go away. It's not over yet.
And as those receivers work the sidelines, they appear to need water skis. For that matter, we may need them before this is over.
It's almost a situation, Myron, where you feel more comfortable playing defense. Anything can happen with that slippery football. Third down and 10. Option with Lowry. Finds the crease. First down and more. Lowry. And Tommy Flynn knocks him out of bounds after a big gainer for a 37-yard line. The play covered from the 35 of Florida State.
They'll pick up 28 on the replay as well as on the live play.
Yeah.
Lowry rolling to his right. Just fakes the pass very slightly. Finds running room, and Tommy Flynn knocks him out of bounds.
Look at the puddle for the technician down on the field. Tell you what, I wouldn't want to be holding onto a wire in these sort of conditions. Florida State first and 10 at the Pitt 37-yard line. Nowhere to go for Ken Burnett, the fullback. J.C. Pelusi was there and put the wraps on him with help from linebacker Troy Benson, seeing some action in place of Yogi Jones. Benson, number 54, 6'2", 225-pound sophomore from Altoona Area High School. That may have been a gain of, no, we're going to call it no gain. Second down and 10. Florida State driving at the Pitt 37-yard line, trailing 24-17. Clock winds down to 3:30 left of the third quarter. Kelly Lowry, the big quarterback. Option pitch. Greg Allen beats one man, beats two. He's on his way down to the 21st down to about the 16-yard line. Tommy Flynn makes another saving tackle for the Panthers, but this option offense has got the Panther defense really spread sideline to sideline.
Well, Greg Allen really turns it on this play. He just turns that corner on sheer speed and brings that football down to the, well, where is it? The 17-yard line.
They're calling it the 17. That was a 20-yard pickup. Allen again. And this time the tackle is applied at about the 13-yard line by Pete Short, the strong safety for the Panthers. Lead blocker out in front of Allen. And he gets a couple of yards and then finally is upended by Pete Short with help from Troy Benson, who got him on top. Ball is marked down at the, we'll call it the 13-yard line, a gain of 4. Second down and 6. Florida State trailing by 7. 2:26 left of the third quarter. Flanker left formation. Loose football. Who has it? The Panthers begin to celebrate. We have no official signal as yet. And as they unpile, it's clear that Lowry was able to get back and cover his own fumble.
Yes, Lowry and two other Florida State Seminoles falling on the football. So here again, the wet football almost costs Florida State dearly. They have driven from their 20-yard line. Obviously, they're not taking it seriously that Pitt is ranked #1 in the country. They have plans to win this ball game. It's been wild and woolly. 24-17, Pitt leading, but Florida State threatening at the 15.
3rd and 6. Lowry, pitch back. Allen, one man. He tries to beat another man, but a marker is down as Allen gets to the 10-yard line.
It's a clip.
It appears that somebody came from outside the clipping zone back in, and it's going to be a major penalty, it would appear, against Florida State. Let's take a look at it and see if we can see the infraction, Mark.
Dennis McKinnon, the wideout, he's going to clip Tommy Flynn from behind.
That's what it was, exactly.
Well, clip him from behind. Where else do you clip him from? But Pitt gets a break there.
Let's see if the call is blocking below the waist. Let's see what official Tommy Miller, the referee from the Southern Independence, indicates. Now, that's going to be a big one. That is the clip-out.
Yeah, Tommy Flynn was coming up to make the stop. He was in good position to shut down that play. So the penalty marches the ball back to the 30-yard line of Pitt.
It'll again be 3rd down. Now, the lead stick is inside the 10-yard line. The line to gain is the 7, right? So they've got to go 23 yards for a 1st down. From the 30, Lowry. Little pressure this time. Nice reception on the swing pass by Cedric Jones. And Jones throws it forward. And Troy Hill.
Yes, Troy Hill intercepts.
Jones on the halfback option pass for Tony Johnson, and Troy Hill makes a big defensive play for the Panthers in the rainfall.
Well, Troy Hill was just a heck of a football player for Pitt against North Carolina in their opener. He is a guy who can move. He came into this game with a bruised chest, and the Panthers were worried that he might not hold up, but he's played pretty much the whole ball game without too much rest. And here again, he comes to the fore as he picks off a pass and stops a Florida State drive. So Pitt has the ball at their 10-yard line with a little better than a minute remaining in the 3rd period. The Panthers lead 24-17.
Panther offense now would just like to come out and be a little smooth about things and not make any mistakes. But with that slippery football, as you know, anything can happen. Pitt with a 1st and 10 at its own 10-yard line after the interception by Troy Hill. High formation, slot right. Collins in the slot. The tailback gets the call. Not much running room. Getting back to the line of scrimmage is Brian Thomas. Not much more.
44.
Ken Rowe, a linebacker. John McClain, a defensive end for Florida State, making the stop. Clock winds down to 53 seconds left of the 3rd quarter. Pitt leading 24-17. The Panthers scored on a block punt that was pulled out of the air by Art Lowry at about the 5-yard line, and he just took people into the end zone, including one of his teammates, for a big score that has put the Panthers ahead. The driving rain began just as the 3rd quarter started, and the puddles at both benches look like they might be sporting some muskie. They are lakes. The hole opened up and then it closed up for fullback Marlon McIntyre. Short yardage out to about the 13-yard line. And the Panthers now run the punt team on the field.
On 3rd down.
On 3rd down. 3rd and 6. They're calling it the line of scrimmage of the 14-yard line.
They just don't want to fool around with that football down there.
Greg Ganser in punt formation. Cedric Jones is the one man back. The ball bounces near the 50-yard line, and the Panthers will down it at the Florida State 49-yard line. They'll call it midfield. That's the end of the 3rd quarter of action here at Joe Campbell Stadium with a score. The Pitt Panthers 24, Florida State 17. We'll be right back after this. 1st and 10, Florida State after the punt of 36 yards by Greg Ganser on 3rd down. Starting the 4th quarter, the Seminoles operate at midfield. Kelly Lowry out of the eye. Option. Steps aside for one man and is tackled after a gain of about 2 yards. Upfield, Rich Dukovic, the Panther free safety, helping to make the stop on the play.
Michael Woods got a hand on Lowry at the line of scrimmage, almost dumped him for a loss, matter of fact, but could not hang on. But Woods is active, and he's playing a good ball game and penetrating.
2nd down and 8. The Panthers on defense have Tommy Flynn now calling defensive signals. Lewis and Hill are the Panther cornerbacks. Short, the strong safety. Flynn is the free safety. Florida State with a 2nd and 8 at the Pitt 48-yard line. I flanker left is the formation. Kelly Lowry. Option pass over the middle for Zeke Mowat, incomplete just off his outstretched hand. He put the left hand up, but the pass led him just a little bit too much. Couldn't get 2 hands on the ball. Incomplete, stops the clock at 14-14. 3rd down, 8. Florida State at the Pitt 48-yard line. Tell you what, Myron, no question about it. This rain has helped to quiet the crowd somewhat because a lot of the crowd isn't here to be yelling.
But they're coming alive now.
The ones who are here are alive, no question. Johnson, split receiver to one side, Jones to the other. Short pocket pass for Lowry, and it's in the air. Is it a completed pass and a loose ball? Nope, they say incomplete. He did not hold it long enough. Hassan Jones, the wide receiver, pop pass over the middle, incomplete, and the Florida State punt team is on the field.
And it was Tim Lewis who put that wicked hit on Jones.
It has to remember that the Panther punter, Lowry, is also the quarterback. Got to be alert on 4th down for any sort of fake. I would think at 14-12 left of the 4th quarter, it's a little too early for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they might want to put Pitt back there in the hole, and maybe Pitt would fumble that wet football, and then Florida State would be in business.
Long snapper is Sam Restivo. He's got the job of delivering the ball truly to punter Kelly Lowry. Line of scrimmage at Pitt 48. It's a good snap. Lowry can't get the foot on the ball. He slipped and kicked it out of bounds at the Pitt 24-yard line. It'll be a 24-yard punt. And so the Panthers get a good break on field position. So instead of being near their 10-yard line, they're right around the 24. After Lowry, I think his left foot slipped as he planted it, Myron, and he just hit half the ball.
It was like trying to hit a wedge out of the lake, right?
I've done that a few times.
Get down there, ankle deep on the edge. But Pitt has the ball down at its 25-yard line, make it the 24. And the Panthers have had some breaks tonight. You might count that as one of them. They would not have liked to have been pinned down deep in the hole.
It's an I slot left formation. The fullback, McIntyre, behind a surge, gets only a yard, possibly 2. Marlon McIntyre runs into linebacker Tommy Young. And then there's a little contact after the play was whistled dead. So let's see what Tommy Miller says. Personal foul, Florida State, for the late hit. That'll be a break for the Panthers. Florida State was driving, had the ball down to the Pitt 13-yard line for a 3rd and 6, tried to run it wide, and a clipping penalty really hurt the Seminoles, and then Troy Hill intercepted. So now this personal foul puts the Panthers out at the 40-yard line.
Where Danny Marino can perhaps put the ball in the air. He's 10 for 17 tonight, has thrown for 111 yards.
Panthers have a 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line following the personal foul. The rain is not as heavy as it has been. It has lightened up some. And the wind is really not as driving as it was before. Now they're going to dry the football off and give the Panthers a little chance for a drier ball. Panthers lining up in an I. Slot left, Cowles in the slot. Dawkins the split left end. John Brown, the tight end, to the right. Fullback is McIntyre, and the tailback is Brian Thomas. Marino, 1st and 10 from his own 40. Play action. Fortunately for the Panthers, the ball fell incomplete. The intended receiver was Julius Dawkins, and the ball was deflected off Dawkins' hands because it was thrown too tall. Dawkins leaping, trying to pull it down, got hands on it, but fortunately, when it was deflected, it fell into an open area.
Yeah, deflected it high into the air, and you say, whoops. If you're Pitt, you say, whoops, maybe an interception, but nobody was there. Florida State would have loved to have had that one.
Stops the clock at 13:36 left of the 4th quarter. 2nd down, 10. The Panthers at their own 40. Florida State with a 4-3 defense. And off the right side, the slip play from Brian Thomas, but he can't quite turn the corner, and he gets out to the 46 and is knocked out of bounds by cornerback Gary Henry. That's a slip play that worked very well against Georgia, Myron, in the Sugar Bowl game, and that time Brian Thomas just couldn't get to turn the corner.
Well, wide receiver Julius Dawkins was working on a linebacker, which is not a very even matchup, and he couldn't move that man out of there, so that sort of slowed things up a little. 13:31 remaining. Pitt out in front, 24-17.
46-yard line is the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 4. Panthers need 4. You got to get to midfield to get the 1st down. Marino with good protection. John Brown, 1st down, and the Panthers are in Florida State territory. Tommy Young made the tackle on Brown, but John Brown got both hands on the football, held on, and leaned forward and made sure that he had the first down, which he does at the 49-yard line of the Seminoles, and the clock is stopped to move the chains at 13-18.
So Florida State coming with a four-man rush, and the secondary taking sort of a deep drop. John Brown just slips in there and gets the first down.
Offensive line that time for Pitt did a good job. Panthers going to the wide slot formation. Out of the eye, Danny Marino. Steps under center, Jim Sweeney. Florida State with an odd man front. Short side play, and a good job of picking his way forward that time was the Panther tailback Brian Thomas. He's tripped up by Brian Williams, the left defensive end for Florida State, and he gets only about a yard. They're going to put the ball down at the 47-yard line.
As we look at Tom Flynn on the Panther bench. Tom Flynn injured earlier in the football game, but did come back. Marlon McIntyre, 14 carries tonight for 49 yards.
Second down 8. The Panthers now at the 47-yard line of Florida State. Pitt leading 24-17. 12-14 left of the game. Marino to Brian Thomas. 40, 35, 32-yard line. Thomas has a big first down for Pitt and more. Brian McCrary, the free safety for Florida State, finally made the tackle on BT, the BT Express.
Got a good block. Gets the block from Sams. The guard, Ron Sams, Moose Sams they call him. He's a big fellow. And Thomas sails through the hole. So the Panthers at the 32-yard line.
High formation, flanker right is Collins. And the fullback, McIntyre gets the call and gets into about the 31-yard line. Quick hitting play, but it just never had a chance to get underway. I'll tell you what, Myron, you see those big objects going through your screen there. Those are not snow flurries. This rainstorm has somehow unleashed a bunch of bugs. They're not the love bugs that we saw back in 1974 here. They look like moths.
They look like dive bombers to me. They're big fellas.
Do me a favor and find out what those are. Do some research for me, okay?
I am not an entomologist. Is that what such a party is?
Panthers with a 2nd and 9 at the 31-yard line. Pitch to Thomas. Hole. Thomas on his feet at the 20. Thomas to the 15-yard line. Thomas down to about the 12 where Garth Jacks makes the tackle. What a run by Brian Thomas, and he got some blocking that time.
From big Bill Freilich. Got a heck of a block from Bill Freilich, the sophomore tackle.
Lead block from McIntyre. The kick-out block. Fada. Freilich sealed off the inside. And Thomas did a great job with great balance.
He's in with 80 yards now on 17 carries.
A first down for the Panthers at the 12-yard line of Florida State. Wow. Panthers, twin receivers to the right this time. Collins in the slot. Single setback. Mack gets the call. Mack bangs to the 11, and that's all. Brian Williams, the defensive end, came up and made a big play for Florida State. There's a marker down near the line of scrimmage. Procedure call. That's the first procedure call against the Panthers tonight, Myron, I believe.
Well, they have worked a lot of the bugs out compared to how they played against North Carolina in any event when they drew 15 flags.
24-17, the Panthers lead by 7 points. 10:24 left here at Doak Campbell Stadium. Tommy Miller, the Southern Independent referee, says procedure call against the Panthers. These are moths. It is confirmed by some entomologist who has done some research and said that's what the invasion is at Doak Campbell Stadium. You can see them flying through your picture. 1st and 15 at the 17-yard line for Pitt. Reverse developing, and it doesn't get started. It was a fake, as trying to hand off to Dwight Collins was the tailback, the fullback, Marlon McIntyre, and it was a fake. It wasn't McIntyre,
No, it was Brian
Thomas.
Thomas, and he just went like on as though he were on a banana peel.
Yep,
Whoop.
he faked the reverse, and he tried to make the cut behind the screen of blockers there, and down he went. So the loss is back to the 23-yard line.
The fake reverse was to Collins, with Brian Thomas keeping the football. 2nd down, 21.
Panthers a moment ago were at the 12. Now they're at the 23. Marino, draw play. Marlon McIntyre gets good yardage inside the 20, down to about the 16-yard line. Tackles by linebackers Tommy Young and Ken Rowe for Florida State.
So the Panthers, leading by 7, are putting themselves in position for the field goal now. Of course, it's 3rd down and 21, but that was a big run there by McIntyre.
Ball is at the 16-yard line. The line to gain is the 2-yard line. So it is 3rd and 14 at the 16-yard line. The clock winds down to 9:03. Panthers going to have trouble getting this play underway. They just barely do. In the nick of time, Marino for the end zone. Touchdown! The Panthers get a touchdown from White. No, that is Julius Dawkins. Play action fake to Thomas. By this time, Dawkins is wide open. That's not the most beautiful picture pass that Marino's ever thrown. But there's number 80 with a big score for Pitt. He beat safety Brian McCrary on the play. For the extra point try, Eric Schubert is on the field for the Panthers with Danny Daniels holding. Ball is on the tee. The kick is up and hooked left wide of the mark, and it's no good. Panthers lead it by 13 points. There's a pause in the fourth quarter action. 8:54 remaining with a score. Pitt 30, Florida State 17. We'll be right back after this. A reminder that on October 16th, when the Panthers play Temple, it'll be Jacket Day at Pitt Stadium, courtesy of Atari and WTAE Radio. The number to call is 624-4601 for special youth tickets and also information on Jacket Day at Pitt Stadium. The Panthers on a 16-yard touchdown pass, Marino to Dawkins. The kick was wide, so Pitt leads it 30-17 with 8:54 left of this ball game. Schubert's going to squib kick it along the Bermuda grass. Picked up by one of the up men, Ken Burnett, a fullback. At the 30, he's met by a host of Pitt tacklers and is down at the 31-yard line. So that time the Panthers decided to squib kick it, or did Eric Schubert just wind up and miss? We shall never know. But it was effective. It got the one of the Florida State up men, Ken Burnett, a fullback, to return it. Great team speed for the Florida State Seminoles. They've got receivers that run 4.4s like you wouldn't believe. Jesse Hester, Dennis McKinnon, Hassan Jones, Tony Johnson. They've got third-team receivers that can run on this football team. Right now they trail 30-17, and the quarterback is number 12, Kelly Lowry. With 8:49 to go, his team trails by 13. Play action fake, Lowry rolling. Open man, but he misses it. Ken Burnett was open, running along the 36-yard line, but the pass was wide of the mark, incomplete. It stops the clock at 8:45. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, Lowry has fallen to overthrowing his receivers in this second half. He is 2 for 8 for just 27 yards passing.
That is the Panthers' Alan Wenglakowski, who is out of this game with a knee problem. Right now playing defensive end on one side is Michael Woods. Chris Dolman's playing the other side. Johnson and McKinnon are the split receivers. Markers fly. It was not a delay of game penalty. Let's see what the call is. Against the Panthers by the reaction of Florida State. Procedure against the defense. So the ball is spotted now at the 36-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 5 at the 36.
With these thousands of large moths descending upon us, if you were wearing your English woolens, Bill, you'd now be undressed.
8:44. Pitt's back. Here comes the reverse. Do they get it away? Yes, they do. With the football is Dennis McKinnon. 35-40, on his way at the 50, and he is knocked out of bounds as he gets to the Pitt 43-yard line. Saving the bacon for the Panthers on the near side of the field is Caesar Alderson. They set up the reverse, and that ball is slippery, but it was a good handoff as they pitch it back to Allen, who hands it off to McKinnon going to the left. And he almost opens up the sideline all the way to the goal line. Panthers got trapped inside, and the cheese comes along to save the day. Caesar Alderson, the sophomore from Mount Lebanon. 1st and 10, Florida State. At the Pitt 44-yard line, loose football. Florida State picks it up, Nope, they lose it again. Who's going to have it? It's still loose.
Pitt's got it.
At the 50-yard line, Bill Moss falls on the ball for Pitt, and the Panthers have it at midfield. A sigh of relief for Coach Foge Fazio.
Greg Allen fumbled it once, and then he picked it up and fumbled it again, and then the quarterback Lowry almost fell on it, but that ball is wet, squirted away, and Bill Moss, the big tackle, got the football. So Pitt takes over at their 49-yard line. Florida State was across midfield and in business.
There's the bar of soap. Greg Allen does finally pick it up, and when he tries to advance it, he is hit. I didn't see who made the hit. Michael Woods had it and lost it. And Bill Moss, look at that cover-up job. The Panthers at their own 49. 1st and 10, leading 30-17 at 7:57. Brian Thomas through a hole, driving forward to the 45-yard line of Florida State, where Tommy Young finally brings him down.
So we've got 7 minutes and 56 seconds remaining, and what with the Panthers having a 13-point lead, 30-17, I would imagine that Coach Foge Fazio will want to eat up that clock.
Covert and Fada, a good job of just buckling down that Florida State defensive wall and giving Brian Thomas not a crack, but just enough open space to move forward.
Yeah,
which he did. From the 49 of Pitt to the 45 of Florida State, it's 2nd down and 4.
Pitt will, I suppose, want to keep that football on the ground, particularly on 2nd and 4, and have that clock run out. But still, 7:53 is a lot of time. And Florida State certainly came into this ball game tonight meaning business. They jumped on top of the Pitt Panthers 10-0 very early, and Marino was having a terrible time getting Pitt's offense on track, but eventually he got them going, and Pitt has gotten some breaks along the way.
7:53 left. There's a pause in the action to score. The Panthers 30, Florida State 17. We'll be right back after this. 3rd down and 4. Pitt at the 45-yard line of Florida State. Brian Thomas just carried a moment ago and got no gain. Marino wants it. Nobody there. Dwight Collins was tied up with a defender at about the 32-yard line. He was battling Harvey Clayton, trying to shake loose. Meanwhile, the ball was in the air, but there's a marker down back in the backfield, and Pitt is going to get hit with a penalty. 6:43 remaining. The Panthers leading 30-17.
Dwight Collins had an idea that he was interfered with, held up downfield by Clayton, but it is going to be the Panthers who will be penalized. So let's see what the call is.
It's in the Panther backfield, so it almost has to be some sort of illegal use of the hands. Let's see what Tommy Miller of the Southern Independent list of officials decides. Split crew tonight. 3 officials from the Southern Independents and 3 from the major independents. And we'll have a conference with Florida State because they've got the option here. Pass was incomplete, so maybe they'll take the down. Dwight Collins was busy in a waltz with the defensive back Clayton that time and couldn't get away from him. It's a holding call against Pitt, declined. Florida State takes it down. It'll bring up 4th down and 4 at the 45-yard line. Dan Marino will probably go into punt formation for the Panthers.
He, of course, is.
Here comes the punt team. This is a last-minute switch by Foge Fazio.
He likes to use Marino when he wants a short punt, doesn't he? But they're pretty well back.
Ganser gets a snap. We got a flag down. And the ball is kicked by Ganser into the end zone, but they'll have to re-kick. Apparently one of the Panthers got offsides ahead of the snap. That's what the indication is against the Panthers. Florida State would be beginning the drive here at the 20-yard line, but they'll want the Panthers to kick again because there's always a chance to block that punt, plus you get the extra yardage.
Yes, indeed.
Plus now you would have a chance at a return, so there's no doubt about the decision for Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden, in his 7th year at Florida State, he is 4-4 lifetime against the Panthers, 52 years of age. One of the game's fine coaches. Foge Fazio on the other sideline in his first year as a Panther head coach, and you talk about pressure. Last week, 7-6 winner over North Carolina in a whale of a game at Pitt Stadium. And now tonight, a barn burner against Florida State. Barely getting it away is Greg Ganser, but he gets away a good one. Signaling for the fair catch is Cedric Jones inside his own 20-yard line, so Bobby Bowden's decision backfires and he loses 6 yards on the exchange. Just barely got that kick away. It was almost blocked, but Ganser, who's worked hard and improving his stride, gets the punt away, and Florida State will start inside their own 15-yard line. There's a pause in the action with a score. Pitt 30, Florida State 17. Florida State with Kelly Lowry, the quarterback, trailing 30-17. Play action fake by Lowry, wants to throw it, has time. And the receiver is knocked off his feet at the 17-yard line. There is no penalty marker. Zeke Mowat, the tight end, got in a leg tangle with linebacker Caesar Alderser, and the official rules that it was not pass interference. The crowd obviously disagrees.
Here's a statistic that isn't a football stat, Bill, but there are 15 lost children in the stadium. Well, I hope that all the parents find them.
And the PA announcer announced that there's going to be another problem outside the stadium, and that's that many of the parking areas are flooded. So there'll be a few tow trucks in action tonight at Tallahassee. Second down and 10. Florida State deep in their own territory with a draw play. It opened up and then it closed up immediately. Florida State tried to get the draw play underway with tailback Ricky Williams, but Bill Moss was there, and so was Caesar Alderser. And they make the stop in the vicinity of the line of scrimmage, which is the 16-yard line.
The clock now winding under 6 minutes, 5:55 remaining, with the Pitt Panthers holding a 30-17 lead over Florida State.
Third down and 9. Florida State in their own territory with 5:45 on a turning clock, trailing the Panthers by 13 points. The second half has